Hi everyone, how are you tonight? Welcome you to the topic Pitching Yourself, conducted by EIY and Ms Dikla Lev. Pitching is a universal skill. The time will come when you need to pitch an idea, a project, or even yourself. You may stumble when the moment strikes. If you don't have a quick and effective process to nail the pitch, in this free EIY education section, our guest speaker, Ms Dikla, will share her go-to approach for selling your ideas, your story, and yourself. Learn three easy steps: a successful pitch, destination, backstory, and connecting the dots. Ms Dikla Lev is a founder of Lev Storytelling. She is a senior trainer and a consultant in the fields of storytelling, pitching, public speaking, influence, and networking. She works globally with a wide range of customers from different cultures and countries. She helps startups, nonprofit organizations, and entrepreneurs to deliver their messages effectively and creatively so they can reach their higher goal. Hello, Ms. Dikla. Welcome you to EIY Education section tonight.
Thank you. Hello, Miss Anne. Very nice to meet you and very nice to be with you all tonight.
Yeah, why is it this topic very important to corporate professional, Ms. Dikla?
Well, we all know that we need to communicate ourselves, and we do it every day, daily, and we communicate storytelling. Um, my work as a storyteller and helping organization and people in storytelling and public speaking, I help them to communicate their message and deliver their product and sell their organization or idea. But pitching yourself is a highest level in which you need to communicate yourself. We're the product, and we need to communicate ourselves in a better and effective way so people will remember us and have it and have us to reach our goal.
So it means that, if I understand you correctly, pitching means selling yourself.
Not exactly selling yourself, but in public speaking, you always need to sell some idea or a message or to bring out your voice to create an impact. So in pitching, you do the same. You deliver your message in more effective and authentic way, but in less time to have more results. And when I'm talking about pitching yourself in a job interview, for example, that means that you not exactly need to sell yourself, but you need to bring out your personal voice in order to be accepted to the job you want to be accepted to.
It means that we bring out our personalities, our authenticity in the interview to pitch yourself.
Exactly. So, if I will say that storytelling in general is the field of delivery, it's actually today, it's a strategic tool to deliver every message you want in authentic, effective, memorable way. In pitching, what you need to do, you do the same, but in less time and more results. That's the main difference. And this is what we need to do actually every day, because you probably can agree with me that in our days today, people has less attention, less time, and they are more and more less in an attention to each other. So basically, we don't have enough time, a lot of time to communicate ourselves. This is why pitching in an interview and pitching your message is very, very important.
Do we apply pitching only in the interview or we can apply it in other different working contexts?
Yes, every different working contact is applicable and very, very, very helpful. So basically, I work today with organizations and entrepreneurs and all kinds of CEOs of organizations that go to conferences and needs to deliver their voice and their startup and to sell their idea. So what I teach them to do and I help them to do is to have it in a more precise way, um, and more um, exact way in which can do it in less time. So basically, people go on the stage today and they have 1 minute, 3 minutes maximum to sell their product and to get investors and influence. And pitching, this is why we do it. So for your question, my answer is you can do it. You need to do it in every field of working and communication today.
I see. It means that is very popular not only in the interview but also that in other working context you can
That,
apply pitching. Now I'm very curious, Ms Dikla, because since that we have so many things to talk about ourselves whenever we pitch about who we are. How can, if I understand you correctly, pitching means it's just a short speech, maybe just only last in 1 to 2 minutes. I'm wondering what kind of information you can put in a pitch in order to pitch yourself.
that's a very good question. So basically, what I'm here today is to give you a very small insight about this field and maybe to help you and the people that are watching us to give you a very specific tool to help you to pitch yourself in a job interview. So it's not only I'm here today to give you this beautiful idea and to sell you this idea that you need to talk less and have more results. I also want to try to have it literally to try to give you an example and give you the tool that can help you to do it. So for your question, I would say that it's actually when I help people, and we will try to demonstrate today in this short session we have. The tools are very, very effective. So when I go to workshops and I work with entrepreneurs, I give them a very, very practical tools to pitch. So it's not only the idea of, hey guys, talk less, but also the practical tools to how to summarize and give the executive summary of yourself or your idea and to bring it out. So this is what I hope to try to do today here.
Sure, sure. Would be great if you can walk us through the steps to pitch ourselves.
I'm sorry, say again?
Would be great if you can share with us the
Sure.
process to pitch ourselves.
Sure. So before we will share the tool. Actually, it's a very, very simple tool I want to share with you today. But before that, I want to have you and all the people that are listening to us to ask you two questions that you need to ask yourself before you go to interview, before you build your pitch to the interview. So the two questions that I want to ask you, and I invite you to ask yourself, is at the end of the interview, what do you want people to know about you? And what do you want people to feel about you? That's a very different questions. So what I'm saying is, and then I want you to think about it while I'm talking. What I'm saying is that when you go to job interview, people see your CV, right? And they have all this information, but you're not the only one. There are so many people before you and after you, and you need to be special and to show yourself. And you don't have time to go through all your CV, right? So the question is that I want you to ask yourself is, among all the things that is written in your job in your CV, what is the most important thing that you want people to know about you? Can you give me an example?
I think it depends on what is my position, the
Yes,
position I'm applying for.
that
So,
that's really, really important, and you're definitely right. Can you tell me? Let's give an example. Let's take an example of a job interview that you supposedly want to be hired.
okay, so just imagine that I would like to be hired as a corporate speaking coach.
Perfect, perfect.
Yeah,
So think about all your CV and all the things that you've been through in your life. What is the most important thing that you want me to know if I give you the interview, that you want me to know from your CV, regard like regarding your the job that you are applying to?
You mean that apart from the position that I applying for,
Yeah, the
what kind of
position.
information that you want? I want you to know more about me.
What do you want me to what do you want me to know
Yeah,
from your CV
mm,
for this job interview for the position of public speaking coach?
I think apart from that, I may would like you to know more about my contribution. How can I contribute to your company?
Perfect, perfect. So that's your experience and also your contribution. And my next question is, what do you want me to feel after you go out from the room? So I know a lot of information about you, but what do you want me to feel about you?
I would like you to feel that I am an engaging person because engaging is really important to be to have in a public speaking coach,
Mhm.
and also I'm a very like caring person, a dedicated person to your learners.
I understand. Beautiful, beautiful. So, with that on our mind, so this is just that was just an example for the things that we want us to think to think before we go to the jump interview. Now, the most important question I want to ask you is what is the story that you can share about yourself that will show you, that will show me your experience and what you want me to feel about you without saying that out loud? So, what is your personal, uh, like some really, really small story or an anecdote that emphasize this about you? Do you have any specific something?
Yeah, for stories, I have many stories to share with you, but I think that let
Yeah,
me share with you my personal statement so that it can wrap all of the stories into one sentence. It means that
exactly.
my mission is to empower learners with self confidence via public speaking.
Beautiful, beautiful. So remember this sentence and remember to have this in mind. And soon we're going to use it in our pitch. Okay. So I'm just going to summarize this part and then we'll go to the next part of the practical tool, right? So until now, we are ahead of the job interview and we need to prepare our pitch, right? So what I ask you, all of the audience, that to think ahead is the three questions. What do you want the people to the people that interview you, what do you want them to know, what do you want them to feel, and what is the story or a sentence that summarize everything and deliver this information? So that's the strategic plan before going into the job interview. And now I would like to introduce you the practical tool of pitching yourself in a job interview. Any questions until now?
No, I'm very excited.
Okay. All right, all right. So this tool is actually based on three levels. If you can remember A, B, C, that's all you need to remember. A, B, C. The three levels of communicate yourself, pitching yourself in a very, very short way. So I'm telling you about three levels, but basically it's all of this should happen on in less than 1 minute. Okay, so it goes with three levels, but it goes really, really quickly, and you really need to prepare it to prepare your pitch. So you do not go to the interview and just go like this. You need to prepare A, B, C, and then it will be perfect. This ABC tool is how to communicate yourself in a more meaningful way and short way. This is the pitch. Okay. So the first level, which is A, is authentically introduce yourself. This happens in only less than 5 minutes, but it's very, very important because when people introduce themselves, they don't do it properly in a way that they don't use eye contact, they don't tell their name properly. So when you introduce yourself, how you can authentically introduce yourself, you are and this is the things that goes into these 5 minutes. You give an eye contact, you smile, you take a breath. You don't say okay or like this. You just take a breath and then you say, hello, my name is Dikla Lev and I am storyteller and pitching coach. Okay, so you do it very, very slowly, and you give an eye contact, whether it's a Zoom interview or it's a front in face to face interview. You always keep eye contact and a smile, and you say your name out loud. Okay, let's try the first level, which is authentically introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. Hi, Ms Dikla. I'm glad to be with you here today. My name is An, and I'm a passionate public speaking coach.
Amazing. Very, very nice to meet you. I can see, only from these 5 seconds, I could feel your energies and your very, very positive atmosphere that you bring to me. And this already gives me the feeling and desire to know more about you. Okay. So this is the first level. Authentically introduce yourself. The second level, the B level, is bring out your most relevant professional information. As I told you before, we have a very long CV that includes a lot of things, but we need to see what is the most important things that you want to share. And I'm going to give you now few examples of how you can deliver your to bring out your most relevant professional information in a more concise way. So you first of all, you don't as you never start with the things that you did 20 years ago. You start with the most relevant things. So in the past 8 years, I was working as a coach in, and and then you go backwards, right? The other thing you need to be aware of is to do name dropping. So, for example, to give names of people or academic institutes that I should know. The other thing is to use numbers. When you give us the most relevant information, professional information about you, you need to really, really bring out the numbers. Like you worked 8 years in this, 2 years in this, and I was leading a mission of 40 people to the United States going to. So you use numbers of time or people or teams that can be relevant to your professional information. And the last thing is to really bring out just the most important thing. So, can you give me like your most relevant professional information?
Okay, sure. I've been teaching public speaking for the last 9 years, and
Okay.
I'm teaching more than 5,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah, they are just from different backgrounds and working in different industries. So I'm proud of that.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you see, you said you told me so many things about yourself in less than 20 minutes. This is the meaning of pitching. How you need to bring everything that important to the front, okay? So I was really impressed from the variety of people, from the amount of people that you were working with and the amount of time that you worked in. So that was really beautiful. So we had level number one, which is authentically introduce yourself. Level number two, which is bring out the most relevant information with using name dropping and numbers and do it and bring out the most relevant thing. And the last level is actually the most important uh, thing. So think about it. Until now, we gave only the professional information, but in job interview and in pitching, we really want to be authentic and to be something personal from ourselves. It's not enough to only bring out just your CV, because if I'm giving you the interview, I can look at the CV without you telling me that, right?
Sure,
So so I want I want you in this 1 minute pitch to bring to that's the C level, to communicate something small and personal about you. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you what it includes, and then I'm going to give you an example, and then you think about it. Okay? So there's something personal can be one of the things that I will say right now. It can be, why do you do what you do? It can be one very powerful quote. It can be something, a very small anecdote about you. And it can be, what is your dream? So if people are watching us right now, I really recommend you to write it down, all these things, so you can think about it before, and then you will have the opportunity to communicate it in your pitch. So I'm going to summarize it again, and then I'm going to give you an example. First, you need to authentically introduce yourself. Second, you need to bring out your most relevant professional information. And third, you need to communicate something personal about you. And that's our ABC. And something personal can be either a dream, a quote, some really powerful sentence like you gave me before, or something personal that we can learn. I can learn about you. I can give you example, and then you will give me example. I have my amazing personal assistant, and she came to the job interview, and she was really, really good energies and smiling and everything. And she told me about all of the things about the CV, but I really wanted to ask her, okay, but what can you tell me about you? And then she told me, I wake up every day at 5 a.m. to take a run, and I do it every day in the past 5 years. And that small anecdote, small fact, gave me the feeling that she is very much uh, what I'm asking you, what could I've learned from this small anecdote?
I think that she is a very persistent person and consistent as well.
Yes, and persistent and professional and very, very dedicated to every mission she take to herself. And now we're working together in the past year, and she's really amazing. So this is the three levels, and the third level, as I said, to communicate something personal, is actually really the most important, and very to bring out from yourself, and you can do it in less time. So, and do you have something that you can communicate about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I have so many things that I would like to share with others. In the past, around 7 years,
Mhm.
I've been asking myself the question that who am I?
Mhm.
Because I believe that one of the reasons that make people feel miserable about life just because that they don't know who they are. So in the past 7 years, I've been practicing meditation and yoga, and I just realized that there is a correlation between meditation and also public speaking. Because at the end of the day, the common thing between public speaking and meditation is it helps people understand who they are, and that's also the motivation to help me wake up every day and help people with public speaking skills because I know that it can help them with self confidence and self awareness.
Amazing. Now I
Thank you.
don't want only to take you to this position. I also want to be your friend. In this really short session, I learned so much about you, and there is so many things in common between you and me
All
that
right.
I don't want to take you to the position. I want you to be my my friend. So it's really, really beautiful, and it gives me really the atmosphere. In the beginning, I told you just briefly to communicate yourself, to introduce yourself, and then you told me your name, and I told you I feel the energies. There are some things that you really feel without saying no words. So after you told me about what you do in the past 7 years. I can personally tell you that I do it in the past 2 years, and it's really really meaningful for me. So when you told me that, I also understand everything about these energies that you gave me while we were talking. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you so much for helping us understand that process, Ms. Dikla.
Yes, it's really, really short and really, really simple process in which everyone can pitch themselves in a job interview. The most important thing that you need to remember is to do it, to not forget two things. First, you need to not forget to do it very, very short, because that is the meaning of pitching. And the other thing is to have it very authentic and personal as much as we can, because it's impossible it's impossible mission to only give the people the CV, because it doesn't matter. It people cannot connect with only with words and CVs. So that's the most important thing, I think.
Yeah, with your process, it's really useful because we can grab so many information within just only a few sentences. And it can
Exactly.
help people understand who you really are and how you can fit to this position.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I wanted to deliver in this short session, to really emphasize and show how it is possible, really possible, to bring less information, but to have more results. And in pitching, the results can be to be accepted to the job interview, but it can be so many other things, but it always very, very, very effectively, because as I mentioned before, people do not have a lot of attention these days. So we need to be very, very direct, concise, and authentic.
Yeah, sure. I think that for those people who are watching this live stream, we can also apply this pitching process in networking opportunities or
Yes.
networking events.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely. It can work in on networking, in conferences, people that are not going into job interviews, but also they need to introduce themselves to new teams and new places and new classrooms. You can always pitch yourself in a better way and more effectively.
yeah, that's beautiful, Ms. Dikla. Now, for the last 2 minutes, I think
Yeah.
that what is the final message that you would like to share with our viewers tonight before we're gonna end this live stream session, Ms. Dikla?
I'm sorry, say again. Can you repeat the question? Yeah.
Oh, we just only have 2 minutes before we finish our live stream session. And what is your final message that you would like to share with our viewers?
Yes, sure. So I would like to start by saying that I really enjoyed the time with you, Anne, and I'm really honored to be a guest in your live show. And I think that we both of us we were talking about what is the most important thing that I can communicate. And in my experience, I was working with people from different cultures and countries around the world, and I think that the most important thing that I want people to remember, that it is possible to connect worldwide with so many people in less time and more results. And that is actually the meaning of pitching and storytelling, that we can really connect authentically with other people and create the impact that we want to make, and also the results that we want to have.
Yeah, very meaningful. In case that our viewers would like to connect to you, how can they reach out to you, Ms. Dikla?
Yes, so everyone is invited to have me on their Facebook, Dikla Lev, Lev, and I will be really, really happy to have any other further questions, cooperations, or any other questions that people might have. They're really invited to connect me through Facebook. Again, Dikla Lev.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ms. Dikla, for joining us tonight. I do appreciate so much. And hi everyone, thank you for joining EIY education session and we hope to see you again next week. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My pleasure. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye Miss.